Now YouTubers, today we're talking about diesel filters. We have a diesel car. Now this goes with a lot of cars. Basically what's happened on this, it's hard to start, it's pumping out a lot of black smoke and it's lost power. Now, this doesn't necessarily always solve it, but one of the first things to do is change the diesel filter. You can see in there it's all white, nice and clean. What happened with this particular car is he let the diesel run out, so it stopped. And when you do that, all the shit from the tank comes up and kind of clogs this. Now I'm not saying that always happens, but that's what mostly happens. So the diesel's struggling to get through. So this is what we think at first. Now there could be other problems, obviously. If you're experiencing this on your car, I'm not saying it's definitely this. But the first thing to do, the cheapest thing to do, is to replace your filter, start the car, drive it, and then basically see from there. So what we're going to do is, the filter is here, it's down there. They're a bit of a nightmare to change these. So basically, there's a couple of bolts here and here, so we're going to undo them, take the filter completely out and work it on the bench. That's what we're going to do now, and we'll get our hands dirty. Bring it on. Alright, there's two 12mm bolts that hold the whole housing on. So, I just want to get that off. Before you take the second one off, it's just handy to take these pipes off. You've got a clip that goes all the way down here, and it goes on the bottom of the filter. So you take that clip off first, and that clip just literally slides off. Then you've got two pipes, and pull them back, just like that. Hold them, to squeeze them together, should I say, and it just slides down. And this should then just screw off, or pull off. And as you can see, that's coming off. So that one comes off, and this one comes off. Now take off the second one. And then you're left with, oh, I forgot a clip. You're just left with that then. And obviously going to put our new filter on, do that at the bench. Now what's handy, on the bottom of this is that little wing nut, just undo that and let all the diesel drain out. It just saves you, when you take the filter off, getting absolutely covered. So just literally let that drain away. You need to keep this because you don't get this with it. So it'll all come out. Sometimes just get the last bit of it out. There's always going to be a bit left in it, but at least this gets most of it out. Now we'll go to the, well, stick that back in first actually, so you don't lose it. What that's designed for is if you've got water in it, you can actually just unscrew that when it's on the engine and it just drains off the water off the bottom. Now the first thing you want to do is take off the bottom, which is just here, the screw on the bottom. You can do this with a few things, adjustable grips which I have, and you have to be careful again because you don't want to break it. You want to hope it's not been over tightened, but it will just spin off. Very simple. Now again, there might be a bit of diesel left here, but don't worry about that. Now that's a little float, and you can even see, well that could have been from me dropping it, but there's a bit of crap on there. But with the new one you get a new O-ring, and it's always best once you get a new O-ring just to replace it, because this could be slightly damaged, you just don't know. So just put the new O-ring on, keep that to the side. Now you want to take off this. These sometimes can be an absolute nightmare to take off because they're tight like this one is now. Now one thing I forgot to mention is be very careful when you put this in the vise. It's not really squeezed. You want to be careful you don't damage anything. I could turn that, as you can see. Look, I haven't put that hard, and the pipes, nothing's getting squashed, so be careful of that. So this, just really grip this hard and turn that Now, you might not really be able to see, but when you look down both of them, obviously this is the new one, so you can see it's white, and that one does look quite bad. Might not show up on camera.
Just hold it.
You see? So like I said, look, this is not, I'm not saying this is the problem, but this is the most common problem and the cheapest thing to do first. Now again, this is just going on hand tight. You don't need to put this on with any tools or anything. Just hand tight. Put this back on. Again, make sure the O-ring is seated in it properly. And again, screw this by hand, because they're only plastic threads, they'll damage very easy. Again, as tight as you can by hand. And there's no harm to give this just a little nip. Nothing too hard though. Just a little nip like that. So that's it. This is now ready to put back on the car. Now, it's just obviously the same way it went in. So what I like to do is plug these clips in first, because believe it or not, these are very easy to forget to plug these back in. So just clip them back in like that. And I just like to put these hand tight just for the minute. And I'll tell you for why. Now, so that's just in hand tight. Now on the filter housing, the camera will have to zoom in. You can see an arrow pointing out. Just zoom into that arrow there. You see that? Now that means that's where the fuel comes out. So we need to fill this up with fuel. But this, lucky enough, has its own pump on it. So what you do is, you put one pipe on. That's the intake, or the inlet. That brings the fuel in. This brings the fuel out. So what we're going to do now is literally pump this until the fuel comes out of there. Could take 30 seconds, a minute, but basically,
depending how fast your wrist action is.
Yeah, faster your wrist action is, like you said, the better. So I should just do it with my left hand, maybe it'd be a lot faster than doing it with both my hands. Actually, I'm ambidextrous, so I can do it with both hands. See there? Now, the camera just zooms down there. You can see as I'm pumping that, you can see can you see that coming out? You see? Now, so it's simple as that. So now all you do is you put the second pipe on. Put it on all the way. Slide it up. Now what I like to do is just give a few more pumps. You'll feel it getting hard now. I'm struggling to push that down now. I'm going to leave that loose.
The more you pump it, the harder it gets.
Yeah. So when it's nice and hard, you can turn the key to open it up.
And it should fire all over the place.
Now, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start it. I'm going to leave it running, because it will run for a few seconds, because obviously it's diesel in the lines, and hopefully it won't cut out. Now if it cuts out, you can just keep pumping that, it's not a big deal. We're going to leave it running about 30 seconds. And after about 30-40 seconds, we know we're not going to have an issue. So we're going to do that now. First thing it starts. Ready?
Yeah.
So here goes. Well, that was in gear. She's excited, she's moving.
She's jumping.
Let's try again. Right, well, it starts, but it will start anyway. You just leave it running. Now, it's not going to cut out, we're okay. Obviously what you want to also check, make sure there's no leaks from the two pipes, or make sure it's not leaking from the bottom. So now what you can do is tighten these bolts up. Now hopefully that has solved the problem. Now obviously you can't see on camera, but this was pumping out a lot of black smoke before we changed that filter. There's still a little bit of black smoke, but there's nowhere near as much. I'm going to take this for a drive now and see if the power is back. If the power is back, we should be sorted. So let's, we'll do that. Now, I've just took it for a drive, and I'd give it a good drive. And it's always best, once you've done that, just to basically double check everything, make sure there's nothing leaking. Now what I found was, when I first took off, there was a lot of black smoke. But as I was changing through the gears, the smoke was getting less and less. And I kept stopping and then starting. And as I was coming back, the smoke's more or less gone. So I'd say on this particular case, we've solved it with that. Now, if it's any worse and it hasn't solved it, what the next good thing to do would be to get some cleaning fluid, diesel cleaner, and you can plumb it in directly, take the pipes off and run the cleaner directly from the bottle inside the engine, and that will clean out the pump, it will clean out the injectors, because if this problem is left too long, everything gunks up and clogs up. But lucky enough we caught this at the right time, so we were good to go. So hope you enjoyed the video, thumbs up and subscribe, and don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you in the next one.